Yeah, let the truth be told. Keep it real and we never hold back. Authentic, real life, real problems. We gon' chop it up and we bringing all facts. Only the truth is what we deliver. And it's hosted by Cashmere Camellia. Kick up your feet, there's nobody realer. Truth be told, you best get familiar. Truth.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Truth Be Told with Cashmere Camellia. Now this episode is a little bit more personal. And I have another family member by the name of Vernita who will share her truth about her grievance process, her journey, and so forth. So let's dive in and let's speak to Vernita. Hey Vernita.
Hello.
So I do want to always start off with asking, who are you? Who is Vernita?
A mother, entrepreneur, stylist, just a friend.
Okay. So I know that this season is on grievance, and I wanted to go in deeper with the passing of Micah. And this is personal, and I want to kind of talk about just a little bit of what happened.
Okay. Micah was a 14-year-old little boy, my baby, but you know, he was struggling with wanting to be, I guess, like in the streets. But you know, I never seen that side of him so much.
Right.
I seen my baby, you know. He still had respect. He never lost respect for me. He was just my baby. But he had another side to him, and that's what his downfall was him, that other side.
Okay.
And that was his demise.
So can you tell us a little bit of...
Micah wanted fast money. Micah was always this kid who wanted the best of the best, and he wanted fast money, and he started running away. He moved to his dad's house. He moved in with his father, and his father contributed to that other side, that bad side, that wanting to sell drugs, wanting to just be in that life.
Right.
And allowing Micah to be grown, and no rules. There was no rules there. So he could come and go as he wanted. He could, you know, do whatever he wanted to do. And that made him a target. Micah had a lot of money, he had guns, he had drugs, and that made him a target. He was thrown into a life of drugs and money. And the people who robbed him, that's what they wanted. That's what they were after. And he was just too young. He didn't have enough life experience to maneuver in that world. And that just made him a target.
And so Micah got murdered.
Micah was murdered. Micah was robbed and murdered at his father's house. He died at the front door. He did go to the hospital. They revived him, but he ended up dying on the way to the hospital.
And that was on January
1st, 6:15. I'll never forget that time. 6:15, 6 p.m.
So it's been a year.
Yeah, January 1st made 1 year.
So in this process of grievance, like, how can you identify grief?
I don't know.
In your own way, in your own journey.
I know it changed me. I'm never going to be the same person I was prior to January 1st, 2024. That was the roughest year I ever experienced in my life. It was tough. I went through a lot. I lost a lot. I learned a lot. and it just changed me. Grieving is a process. It's a long
really
process.
It is.
And it looks different for everyone.
So how can you identify your grief? Like when you can say like, okay, this is part of my grief.
In my experience, sometimes you don't know it until later. Like, I know at certain times of the year that I get more quiet, or that I want to be more secluded, or that I may handle it different than what I would have prior to that process. Like for instance, the holidays, they look a lot different for me now. Because prior to January 1st, my holidays were surrounded by my kids and what that looked like to me, family, you know.
Right.
So now with my son not being here, it looks different for me. It's sad. So I have to do different things to maneuver through that. It looks different for me now.
Okay.
So grieving for me is and I didn't notice that I was grieving sometime until I come out of it. Like
Speak more about that one.
So I think that, you know, it's days and it's times where I'm in my bed more. And then when I can get out of the bed, it's like, wow, so I may have been depressed those days, or I was grieving.
Right.
And you don't know it until you come out of it. Like, you have to go through it. It's like a storm. You have to go through that storm, and then when you come out of that storm, it's like, oh.
Yeah, you do realize.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you know, then the sun comes back out.
Right.
And you open up your eyes and you like, okay, I can still breathe.
But then it's like also like different stages.
It is.
I'm still experienced.
You still have to go through it. You still have to learn and maneuver and identify them.
Right.
And it don't always look the same. And it definitely does not look the same for everyone. I know I went through the angry stages. I went through the not wanting to be bothered stages. I went through all of that. And I read a lot. I prayed a lot. And I get quiet a lot. I get quiet and just want to be to myself.
And you're still like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to just go in my room, pray, talk to God, and then make sense of whatever it is that I'm going through, whatever triggered that.
Right. So I know you indicated that some days you like to be alone, but who has been a part of this journey, like impacted during this grief journey?
I have a village.
That's really good.
I cannot just say one person who helped me through this process. I have so many people who helped me. My village is large. It goes from 2 years old to probably 82, and everybody in between. My mom, she's been there. Trey, he's been there. Trey has been a major person that helped me through a lot of it. And my kids, Ayana and Araya, just knowing that I still have them watching and I have to be strong for them too.
Right.
So that was a major thing for me. The day after Michael was killed, I took her to daycare for the first day. That was her first day to daycare. And I took her, and I knew that if I could handle doing that one day I would be okay. Maybe not that day, maybe not the next day, but if I could handle just getting through just one thing at a time, I would be okay. And that was major for me, even though that may not be a major thing, just taking her to daycare, but it was major for me to just be able to handle that task and get through it. And my village is strong. When I tell you they were there every day, every day, helping me, feeding me, driving me, calling me, talking to me, making sure my kids were okay. And then, you know, my friends.
Right. So are they still impacting your life to this day? You know, because sometimes after funerals, people
it gets quiet.
It gets quiet, and then you have to deal with it by yourself.
No, like I said, my village is so big.
Okay.
It's so large to where even up to like major dates, like the first, like my people were there like, hey, what do you want to do? What do you want it to look like? What do you want to do on that day? Do you want to do something on that day? Whatever you want to do, we there. And this was the first, I don't know what to call that, like an anniversary. What do you call that?
We just say death anniversary.
Death anniversary.
That's. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I just feel like
I think that I have a hard time with naming that date because I don't want it to sound like an anniversary is like a happy thing to me in my mind. It's like
okay, that's
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's my view of anniversary.
Now, I don't personally say anniversary. Like
right.
I personally just don't say it. I just say in my mind, this is when the last time this person.
So I'm saying, yeah. So what would you call that? It's nothing else to call it but an anniversary, right?
Right.
So I didn't know what to do for that date
or saying,
to remember it,
or saying losing. This is the year of losing, because in your mind you say anniversary is happy times for you. So I suggest like saying, okay, this is the year of the passing of Micah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't do anything for that date this year.
Okay.
And I don't know what it'll look like next year or the year after that, but this year Ayana was home. She was home for 2 weeks coming up to that date.
And Ayana is the oldest. Is
the oldest, yeah. So Ayana was home, and I was so thankful for that she was home. And so, you know, when everybody was asking me what did I want to do, I kind of tried to think about doing some kind of maybe balloon release or something in remembrance of him. But then I asked myself, what do I really want to do? And I said, I don't want to do anything. I just want to be home with my kids and just be at home and be at peace and listen. So I had never had a dream of Micah. Like, I know
really
people, they look for that. Like when someone close to them passes away or whatever, they want to have that dream. I never.
Still?
No. So that date though, I said, I just want to be quiet. I just want to be quiet. That's all I want to do. Just have my kids here, feed them, and just love on them, and that's it. So probably about, I don't know, noontime, maybe like 2 o'clock or whatever. I said, I'm gonna lay down and take a nap, me and the baby. So I had put her to sleep, and I laid down, and I had kind of like started to drift off to sleep, and then something woke me up. And then I laid back down, and I felt like a push on my chest, like that.
To lay back down?
Yeah. And the biggest smile came across my face, and I said, that was Micah. He would do something like that. Lay your butt down. That would be something. Michael was a jokester. You know what I'm saying? I said he didn't come to me in my dreams, but he came to me in a sense of something like that. Because it was just him. It was definitely something that he would do. And it was so profound. Like I could really feel like a push on my chest, just like that. It wasn't hard. It wasn't like aggressive. It was just the softest touch. Just like that. And I slept so good. It was the most peaceful nap I ever had. And I woke up and just went on about my day. But it was beautiful. And I was so happy. Yeah, I was so happy that I did not allow myself to get caught up in the rigmarole of remembering him.
Right.
And that I went with my first mind of just be quiet. Just lay down, be quiet. And remember Michael that way. And that's what I did. And it was beautiful.
That was beautiful. So do you feel like how do you look at your life now that you have to move on from one child being gone? And I know you indicated, Trey and Ayana and Raya, this is your family and they keep pushing you, but
yeah,
what is life like without that?
I'm still a mother. So we're going through the process of getting justice for Micah. Okay. So that to me is like a no-brainer, I'm still a mother, so I'm still doing whatever that looks like of protecting my child. So with Micah even being gone in the afterlife, I'm still going to protect him and his name and him in a whole. So I'm there at court, I'm fighting, I'm talking to detectives, I'm talking to whoever to get justice for him. And that's what life looks like in that aspect of protecting Micah still.
Right.
And I always just think like I still have to be a mother, Right. It's not over. Even though he's not here physically with me anymore, it's still my job to be a mother to him and the other kids. So, as far as that part goes, it's a no-brainer. You just have to go. You just have to do whatever that looks like, whether that's going to the police station, whether that's going to court 10 times a month.
Right.
Because there's so many people involved, or talking to somebody about it, that's just what it looks like now.
So do you feel like during this whole year, I know the first year is hectic and your mindset goes off sometimes because you're just on the go. But did you feel like you stopped and say, hey, I identify I need help, I need to go to therapy, I need to go to counseling, I need to seek guidance during this grief process?
Your sister sent me to a therapist. Yeah, she referred me to a therapist. One of my clients, she's a therapist, and she's one of the people who called me. Even if she didn't call, she texts me every morning. Just during the first part of that process for me, she texts. She sent me over literature. She brought me gifts over just to help me through that grieving process. I took off from work probably about the first 3 months of last year. And I did not go back into the salon until I went to the therapist and talked to them and did the work that I felt like I needed to do to be strong enough to deal with all the different personalities that come into the salon. That's a hard job to do when you're dealing with so many people. You don't know what they faced prior to coming into the salon. I didn't want to go into that broken. So I did a lot of soul searching and asked God, am I supposed to still be doing that? Because if I'm not, give me a sign and I'll go to something else. Because I don't want to go into that broken and maybe damage somebody else further that may come into contact with me. I did not want to do that. So I did a lot of soul searching prior to going back into the salon. I prayed, I read books, I went to therapy, and
Wow. But that's good.
Yeah,
That's really, really good. Because a lot of people don't
think about
doing that.
the big picture of
Right.
it, and how, because this is a thing, like with people, sometimes you drop off your baggage to the next person,
Right.
and they already have whatever they were dealing with, right? And maybe that right there was already heavy on them, but now you done
Put
that
extra
on top of them, and maybe they can't handle that. Just because you could handle it, they maybe can't. So I did not want that. I did not want to give that to anybody if they can't handle it. I did not want to go into that salon with that energy, because people come to the salon to feel good.
And be relaxed.
Yeah.
And not worry about no problems.
And I know what I give to the world. Like, I know that I have so many clients that if I don't even do their hair anymore, they still stop by that salon just to see me.
Really?
Yes, I have been doing hair for 20 years. So it's people who, I do locks. They don't even have locks. I haven't had them in years. They come by. If I was passing by Edgewood, I had to stop by and see you. You know what I'm saying? So I know what I give to the world, and I know my gifts. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I make people happy. I did not want to go back into that salon broken. So I thought about all kind of stuff. I said, well, maybe I should drive trucks and be by myself. And I asked God, like, hey, do I need to be in that salon?
Really?
Girl, I was going to do something different. Like, I was open to anything. I was like, God, if that's not where I'm supposed to be,
Right.
just give me the sign and I'm okay with it. I'm going to go to the next phase. And that'll be okay. It will be okay if that's what you tell me I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
But if you want me back in that shop,
I need to heal.
I need to do the work to get back in
Yes.
now. And I understood my mission. That was my homework. I had to do that before I go back in that shop. And I knew. And your sister was right there like, hey, I got this lady, I'm call her. I'm gonna give her your email. You need to do what you need to do. And I was like, okay. And I called her, I talked to her, I talked to other therapists, I did the work.
So what's one thing to share? One thing that still holds on to you during the sessions that you were doing in therapy? What can you give to people?
So, Ayana didn't want to do therapy. She didn't. She was against it. Like, she was like, no, I don't need it. I'm okay. So, during a lot of times when I would talk to somebody, I would try to remember whatever they were telling me so that I could tell her. Because I knew that was going to be her therapy. Because she wasn't going to receive it from anybody else.
Yes.
Because she's a strong girl, you know. Like Micah got murdered. Ayana went back to school the first day that kids went back to school. She was like, hey, this is my senior year and I have stuff to do. I'm going to prioritize my grieving. And that's what she did. She set it over here And she did everything she needed to do during that grieving process. And she did it gracefully. But I knew that she still needed the tools that I was getting from the therapist. The tools that I was receiving to be able to be strong enough to do everything I needed to do. I knew she needed them. So I would try to record everything in my mind that the therapist would say, so that I could play it back for her whenever she allowed me to. Because that's another thing with Ayana. You can't, well, that's with anybody. You can't force that onto them.
Right.
So I had to wait until she was ready to have those conversations with me. So I would just record it, and I would periodically play it back in my mind, like, what did the therapist say? What did they say about this? Okay, Bernice, this is what you're going through. What did they tell you to do about that? Is it okay? You know, is that okay how you're feeling? And the stuff that the therapist said to me, I tried to remember it so that I could say it back to her. And she was ready to talk one day.
Really?
What? Yes.
So what stuck with her? Like, what?
Being okay with going through the grieving. Just, the things that you're feeling is okay. Ayana is a person who, she made an agreement with herself that, you know, I'm going through this grieving process, but I'm going to agree with myself to go through it later. And so, when she was in boot camp, she went through it. So we couldn't talk on the phone. And I think that it was better for us that way, right? Because, like I said, grieving don't go the same for everybody.
Right.
With me, I needed to go talk on the sofa with somebody and cry and get angry and all of that. That was for me. For Ayana, I wrote it in letters. So all the stuff that I remembered, I was able to write it down for her. And I was able to take my time and remember it and say it the way I wanted to and the way I remembered it. So I had notes in my phone from my therapy sessions. I wrote them out to her. All my notes. I wrote them to her. The stuff that worked for me, I wrote it in letters to her so that she could be okay with the feelings that she was having.
Now that's beautiful.
It is. That's part of being a mother.
But like, that's like what you just said.
It never stops.
No.
And
Oh, I didn't mean to cry. But that was beautiful. Because Ayana needed that.
And I didn't know when it was going to happen. I didn't know how it was going to happen. And I didn't know how it was going to look.
Be isolated.
She had to get isolated. She had to be removed
from everything in order to even grieve properly.
Yeah.
And God knew when she needed that. And
He prepared me.
Yes.
Because who would have thought to try to
remember everything with your therapist? And I feel like the Holy Spirit really put that in your heart to even remember.
And to think. And to have the hindsight.
Right. And how to play it out of writing it down for her. Yeah. So she can always carry that.
So I asked her at the boot camp, I asked her, I don't know, we were just talking. And she said, I got all the letters that you wrote me. And I said, I got all the letters you wrote me too. And she said, yeah, I got them put up. I said, I got mine put up too. And that was my confirmation that she still had all the tools that I gave her. Put them up to when you need them. Pull them out if you need them.
Right.
They right there.
Well, I'm proud of you for pushing on and still remembering you have 2 other kids that you have to be a mother to, and not just abandoning them or their feelings or their needs. And you killing it. You went back to work.
Yeah, that was hard.
So that's a beautiful thing. Thank you for sharing. I know I kept asking you to, like, you gonna be comfortable?
I remember when you called me, you was like, you presented it to me, and I said,
Yeah. You just kept saying,
You was like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
And I just was like, So this is the thing. I knew that one day I was gonna do something like this, right? Mm-hmm. And I didn't know how it was gonna look or how it was gonna be presented to me, but I wanted to do it in my way, right? Mm-hmm. So when I was saying, I was like, what better way? You gotta do it like this. This is how it's gonna look. Cash is the perfect person to do this with.
Right.
We're gonna do it. And so my was not a it was a okay. I see you. So yeah, it was that.
Yes, I felt it. I did feel it at the end, not the initial conversation.
The initial
yes,
but by the second
it was like okay. I felt comfortable, and as as we were building up to create this moment, I'm telling God, give me the right people to speak about grief and what their journey looked like, because me losing parents, you losing a child, to me, that's the 2 worst things you could ever experience.
They are.
And I feel like once you get past that, you can get past a lot of things on earth.
You can. Know how strong you are.
Yes, that is the most painful feeling. So I knew this would be a genuine conversation and a authentic conversation.
Right.
So
right.
Thank you for wanting to share it.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you guys on the next episode.
Be told.